It's the final race of the day at Misano. It is the final round of the European Championship for Lamborghini Super Trofeo, and it promises to be an absolute honey of a race, because this will determine who wins Lamborghini Cup and who wins the Pro categories here in what has been yet again an ultra-competitive season. Hans Fabry takes on Pierre Feligioni and Daniel Waschinski within the Lamborghini Cup. And Max Weering is 4 points back from Kevin Gelardoni and Leonardo Pulcini in the Pro competition, both of them having had problems in race one. Max had a puncture while leading and limped home 7th, while a wheel fell off the car of Kevin Gelardoni in his stint early on, and they didn't finish at all. They do get a point for pole position going into this race, hence the margin is 4 between them. Let's find out what's going to happen in what should be a really good way to round out the season. David Addison trackside, down on the grid, Marietta Evans. And we've already had Andrei Lewandowski confirmed as the Pro-Am champion and Claude-Yves Gosselin confirmed as the Am champ. But we'll find out very, very shortly what happens in the other competitions when the cars get to the grid. So there, the teams are ready, the marshals are ready, and this final race of what's been a busy Friday with already a European race and 2 North American rounds. And then tomorrow is given over to the first races within the World Final. There's 1 per category, one per division, if you like. So the Pros with the Pro-Ams race, and then the Ams with the Lamborghini Cup drivers race separately. It gives everyone something to fight for. The circuit has been bone dry all day, pretty chilly this morning, but it's got warmer as the day has gone on. It's not exactly shorts weather, but it's bright and it's sunny, and it's delivered some good racing all day, and there's more to come here, I'm sure. The grid is formed, with lining up on pole position Leonardo Pulcini, so looking to win the championship from the front, whereas the opposition, Max Weering, will line up exactly behind them, 1 row back for 3rd on the grid. Now, down on the grid, having had a good run in Lamborghini Cup earlier on, are the Privitellios. For this second race, it is going to be Luciano who will start. Donovan Privitello is with Marietta.
Donovan, how does it feel to be here competing in the World Finals with your dad as a co-driver?
It's a very cool feeling. Nothing to say, just always very good, always impressive. So I'm very happy to be here and participate to that course. No, not the course. I'm sorry for the English, but I'm very happy for everything we did. That we did a good job with. So it's always okay.
And how does it feel to share the team with your father? Is that better? Is that worse? Because he can tell you off. You didn't do this well or bad?
No, all good, all good. We're there's no problem with him. Everybody's cool, and everything is cool around the car and around the team. So all perfect. I'm very, very happy to go with him, and thanks to him for me to get here. So nothing to say. So thank you to him. Thanks to him.
Who is the fastest, Dad or you?
This track, I am faster. Yeah, this track, yeah, because I worked many hours on simulator, so I think I'm faster here.
Good luck for your stint. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Donovan Privitello then is good to go. He will do the second stint. So the way the championships, of course, work, you start in the double driver entries, the race which you qualify, and you must do qualifying session for one of them. You don't have to have a co-driver. A number, of course, do go solo, and therefore there is the change of the pit stop time. If you're on your own, you have a 3-second longer pit stop, 143 seconds line to line. If you've got a co-driver, it is 140 line to line. Busy grid this, because it stretches all the way back, 17 rows of it. In the past World Final weekend, we've, again for the European race, had it split with the Pros and the Pro-Ams getting a race and the Ams and the Lamborghini Cup separated out of it. But this year it's all in, and it's made for some very good racing, very busy track indeed. There are all the marshals ready, so you know your row, know where you're looking, and the drivers trickling into position now, ready for this last race of the championship. So for the Oregon team, which has been new to Lamborghini Super Trofeo this year, pole position claimed by Leonardo Pulcini, who himself has made a very good switch in the last couple of seasons away from single-seaters. He was in the FIA Formula 3 Championship for a couple of years. Came last year into Italian GT. He's also a former Euro Formula Open pace setter, won the championship indeed in 2016. Kevin Gilardoni, who shares with him, runner-up last year, and again somebody that raced in single-seaters in Formula Renault in this country a long time ago. He's raced in GT4 in the Renault Megane Euro Cup. These sort of cars seem to suit Kevin Gilardoni. He's perhaps not quite as quick as Leonardo Pulcini, but there's not much to choose between them. On the outside of the front row, Raul Gutzmann, the Mexican driver, sharing number 41 with Glenn Van Berlo. Now, Gutzmann had just got himself into the lead of the first race, only for him being caught by Dan Pell. Pell got past him. Gutzmann was then given a bit of a tap by the chasing car for second place of Milan Tikens, which gave him a puncture. Tikens got a penalty, but it didn't do Raul Gutzmann any favours, because by that stage the damage was well and truly done, and the car ended up a long, long way down the order. So the net result for Raul Gutzmann and Glenn Van Berlo was that they were 27th overall. Big, big disappointment. So as the grid is formed, Leonardo Pulcini starts the pole position car, which lost a wheel in race one, but now Marietta for Kevin Gilardoni. All four wheels are attached.
I think, Kevin, it's time to put behind what happened in race one. You have an opportunity to clinch the title, and your car starts from pole.
Yeah, we have seen in the first race of today that everything could happen, so we will do our best as always. The team work hard on the car, so it's another race, another time, another chance, so we will give 110% till the end of the race, and at the end we will see the result.
How are you feeling before your stint? You'll be doing the second stint. How are you feeling with your speed at this racetrack?
I don't feel everything. I'm just here to push as much as I can, and for me we are 0-0-0 points, so who will win the championship. So we will do our best, and we will try to do this till the end of the race.
Very best luck. Thank you very much.
A nervous Kevin Gilardoni then gets ready for what is going to be an important race. It could be one that gives him a championship. It could be one that gives heartbreak. Max Weering, the same. He comes into it with a 4-point deficit. There's a gap on the grid there, which is where Jonathan Cecotto's car is not. The GSM entry that he shares with Kevin Rossano, it might be that it's yet to work its way through all the people on the grid. Might be that it's trapped in the pit lane. So we'll keep an eye to that, but there's certainly a gap as you look down onto the grid. Max Weering is going to start number 61. And again, as there you see Cecotto's car coming to the grid. Crucial race this, Marietta, for Max Weering.
Max, yes, this is the crucial moment, and you have the Oregon car just in front of you. How are you feeling ahead of this race?
Yeah, it's getting quite busy. It will be a hard race. But we will see what's going on. It's getting for the points, and I'm 5th points, I think, behind them. So we can win or lose, and we can win a lot and we can lose a lot.
How is the run to turn one at this racetrack?
Yeah, I really don't know. We have to see what's going on, and after that I will see what I will do.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Pressure on Max Weering here. It was a puncture that caused the spin, that caused them not to win the first race. It looked like they were an absolute shoe-in, him and Loris Spinelli, to win the race. Loris had dominated his stint. Max Weering had taken over the leading car, and the main championship opposition was a three-wheeler. And suddenly, pop, tire down, spin, drama for Max Weering. The other fight to look for is for the Lamborghini Cup, where Hans Fabry comes into this race actually with a slightly stretched margin over Pierre Feligioni and Daniel Waschinski. But there is Leonardo Pulcini, set, ready to go. The typical piratical emblem on the side of the Oregon car. And he gets himself settled in, ready to go. And you can see Leonardo Pulcini means business here. Another man to watch is going to be Raul Gutzmann on the outside of the front row with Marietta.
Raul, this is the last opportunity for you guys to clinch a victory this year in Super Trofeo Europe. You are in a very good position on the front row. Do you think you have the speed to make it happen?
I think, yes, we can fight. We had a really good qualifying. We have a strong car. We just need to give a good fight, and we will see the result.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Raul Gutzmann, another hard luck story in the first race, being tapped into a spin and getting a puncture. Good to have him back racing as well this year. It was a nasty accident that stopped his season at Spa last year, the support race, the second of them to the Spa 24 Hours. But Raul Gutzmann, good to have him back and going so strongly. There then is Max Weering lining up third on the grid. Loris Spinelli is the co-driver. Last minute advice offered up, and they've made a good double act. They won both races at the Nürburgring, which really helped catapult Max Wearing back into the mix in the championship. And that really is why Loris Spinelli has been brought in, partly to drive the coach, partly, though, for his speed, to give Max Wearing a chance. And you get the same number of points whether you've got a co-driver or not, given to you jointly. So Max Wearing taking the advantage of having Loris Spinelli alongside. What about Jonathan Cecotto? He's fourth on the grid, Marietta.
Jonathan, a very important race for you, the last race of the Super Trofeo Europe this year. You have had the speed this year, but luck has not been on your side. What do you feel you can do today?
The goal has been the same the whole season. It is to win. And like you said, unfortunately, we were a bit lucky during the year, but for sure now all the unlucky is done, and the objective is to win the race.
Do you think you can make your way through the traffic ahead of you?
I will try. I know that I can be very competitive today, so I will do my best to overtake everybody I have in front of me.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Jonathan Cecotto, World Final winner 2 years ago, the last edition of the World Final, but it has been a win-less season in Super Trofeo Europe. Speed has been on their side, the odd penalty for pit lane infringements or track limits or a co-driver whose pace has been a bit lacking. But as Kevin Rossell, who is the 2019 Super GT Denmark champion, has been getting up to speed, learning cars, learning tracks, he's been getting better all the time. Milos Pavlovic there, starting fifth on the grid, sharing with the Serbian driver Petar Matic. And now the grid starting to be cleared as we get set to go racing. 3-minute board has just been shown. At the 1-minute board, the last engineers will fire up the engines, wish their driver good luck, and leave the grid. And overlooking turns 1 and 2 and 3, the first sequence, the enormous Lamborghini hospitality building from which everybody gets a great view of an all-important part of this Misano circuit. And you can then see them loop their way back onto that back straight coming out of turn 6. Milan Tikans then, given that penalty which cost him 10 seconds in the first race, didn't actually lose in the place, but did pick up a penalty for the contact. And he and Maxime Ouston will share the car that lines up 6th on the grid. Their 7th is Kiko Galbiati, the Italian domiciled Romanian driver, and lining up 8th alongside him is going to be the race 1 winner Dan Pell, who shares with the 2019 European champion Danny Cruz. So as ever, it's a real quality lineup that we have within the championship. There is the race 1 winning car, Dan Pell at the wheel of it, the 17-year-old who's been another very impressive newcomer to the championship this year, and he's ready for the fights, ready to go. Danny Cruz will take over, and then behind them you can see the Oregon livery carried by Massimo Siglia. That was a new co-driver for him this weekend, Axel Blom, the Finnish driver, joining him. So, ready for the formation lap to get underway. And there, number 2, Seb Morris, the very, very rapid British driver, British GT champion, is going to start, and he's been parachuted into this car for the last couple of events, Nürburgring and here, along with Sebastian Balthazar, who's been the regular all season. Again, the aim is to try and help the other Seb in the championship. Seb B, but Seb M will start, and British GT champion in his Bentley days, former Bentley factory driver, Seb Morris, very quick indeed, one to watch. Massimo Siglia lines up alongside him. 1 minute to go to the start then. Engines will fire, grid will be cleared, and then we're going to be in business, ready for the last round of Super Trofeo Europe. 50 minutes, mandatory pit stops at the 20 to 30 minute window, and if you're on your own, it is 100 seconds line to line. If you've got if you're on your own, it's 103. If you've got a co-driver, it's 100, and the field will be released very shortly behind that Urus, the leading car. The last few engineers making their way into the pit lane. And this very, very busy grid, indeed, of what, 33 of them stretching right the way back to the Curva Misano, the last corner, the left-hander of Curva Misano, turn 16, that brings them onto the pit straight. And there, the cars now given the indication to go from the line. Last opportunity to get warmth into the Pirelli tyres, to get pressures up in the Pirelli tyres, and then we'll be ready to go racing. Great sound these cars make, and a great sight as well. There's a whole grid full of them. Heads down to the first sequence of corners then, the Parco curve, it's known, And then that in turn brings you here up towards turn 4 and 5, 2 apex really for this Rio curve. Let's look at the grid. Leonardo Pulcini starts with Raul Gutzmann with him at the front. The second row of the grid is where you'll find Max Wearing aboard 61 and Jonathan Cecotto, a man to watch in the first stint indeed for the GSM Racing Squad. Fifth is going to be Milos Pavlovic, his Pro-Am entry alongside Milan Tikens for Bonaldi, who had a 1-2 in fact in the first race of the day. Seventh on the grid again for the GSM squad, Kiko Galbiati, and race 1 winner Dan Pell will start the Corrie shares with Danny Cruz from 8th, and 9th is Seb Morris, again a man to watch. Massimo Siglia likewise, he starts 10th. 11th on the grid, Josef Zaruba, Pro-Am entry. Another Pro-Am car is next, Dmitry Gavatseva lining up for the outside of the row for Target Racing. Then it is Michael Dorbecker for VS and newcomer Sebastian Freimuth for the AKF Motorsport team ahead of Gabriel Rindoni and Alessandro Tarabini, who picked up a penalty for contact in the first race, and it was contact against Rindoni incidentally. Andrei Lewandowski is this year's Pro-Am champion. He's alongside the quick Am Raffaele Giannone. On the 10th row of the grid, Hölin Han and Oscar Lee in Bruce and Gignon and Leipert entries respectively. 21st on the grid is where you will find Fidel Leib and Gerhard Watzinger, the American driver for Leipert, lining up alongside his teammate. 23rd, Marc Rostin, who's already helped Claude Gosselin to the AM Championship. Lamborghini Cup driver Jared van der Voort is alongside, ahead of Freimuth Senior, Oliver Freimuth, and then Guido Mader, Sky broadcaster in the guest car, 26th, ahead of Bartok Biola, first time out. 27th on the grid. 28th is Libor Dvoracek, ahead of Arkin Arca, and then Hans Fabry with Luciano Privatello and Daniel Waszinski on the final full row, and the grid completed by Kuma Prabhakaran. So that is how we are lined up. The formation lap is 2x2 rolling start. They will get themselves now into that kind of Noah's Ark formation. And when the race director, Daniele Galbiati, is happy, he will give the instruction to release them. Just going back to Milan Tikens for a moment, penalty in race 1, also a penalty on this grid because he overtook under a red flag in qualifying, so got a 2-place grid drop. So technically the speed is there to be a row further up the grid. As into the pit lane then comes the leading car, the Lamborghini Urus. The drivers now turn themselves towards the last corner, whole formation, and Kevin Gilardoni watches Leonardo Pulcini tease the rest as he comes now out of the last corner, ready for the lights to go green for the race to get underway. Now, the last round of Super Trofeo Europe then is go. Who is going to make the best start? It is Leonardo Pulcini, who's already ahead, with Max Wearing up to second. Look on the inside line as they dive down towards turn 1, so he's done it, he's gone by. 3 wide in the mid-pack as Milan Tikens gets up the curb and others get forced out wide. Further back, I think Josef Zaruba is the red, white and blue car driver that's been forced over the curb and drops down the order as they battle their way now up towards turn 4 for the first time. Brake hard, turn through the right and right again, and then left at 6 onto this back straight. There's a little kink that constitutes turn 7, but it's an almost imperceptible one. Down towards turn 8 at Queccia as Massimo Siglia goes through there. Number 27, the Oregon car, sister to the leading car, which leads in the hands. Leonardo Pulcini driving it and pulling away on cold tyres from the rest of them as they fight their way now up towards the double apex right of Tramonto for the first time. Kink at 9, turn at 10, and then loop your way round onto that fast back part of the circuit. In the pack, number 16 is Andrei Lewandowski. Behind him, Alessandro Tarabini. And as they accelerate towards the end of the lap, Tarabini looking for a way past Lewandowski. Tarabini is another in the pro category as they blast then now up towards the end of the opening lap and what's been a pretty busy first lap. Oscar Lee on the back of Tarabini there. Headlights ablaze as the leading cars come through the fading light. Late afternoon now, it's 5 to 5 local time. Up towards the right-hander of Caro they come. Well in hand, number 39, keeping Fidel Leib at bay. Fidel, an experienced Nordschleifer driver, is up towards the timing line. Then comes Leonardo Pulcini. He's ahead of Max Wearing, which is exactly what he needs to be. Max now has to try and keep that car in the mix, give Loris Spinelli a chance to challenge in the second stint. Raul Gutzmann is third, Jonathan Cecotto fourth, Milos Pavlovic is fifth, sixth is Tikens, seventh is Galbiati, eighth is Seb Morris, ninth is Dan Pell, 10th is Dmitry Gavatseva as there. Raffaele Giannone gets through ahead of Alessandro Tarabini, maintains 17th place going out of Parco, and he's now got Oscar Lee right up behind him as well. 33 starters, they're all still going despite how tight it looked on the opening lap of the race. First 20 minutes and then you have the pit window to open. But Leonardo Pulcini, and there's drama there. Now, who is that? Is that Tikans, possibly looking at the colour scheme? But somebody, I fear, has run out wide and either got a puncture or damaged the suspension. It is Milan